Finding love in Hollywood is hard, but finding lasting love in Hollywood is even harder. These celebrities sent shockwaves through the internet by divorcing, even though it seemed like they'd be together forever. Fans were absolutely gutted when, in January 2022, Jason Momoa announced that he and Lisa Bonet were divorcing. Momoa posted a shared statement on Instagram that read in part, "We share this not because we think it's newsworthy, but so that, as we go about our lives, we may do so with dignity and honesty. The love between us carries on, evolving in ways it wishes to be known and lived. We free each other to be who we are learning to become, our devotion unwavering to this sacred life and our children." Even though their marriage lasted 5 years, Momoa and Bonet were together far longer than that. They were first introduced by mutual friends while out at a jazz bar in 2004 and started dating immediately afterward.
Did it feel weird to say husband?
We've already...
A husband.
My husband. I've already thought of him as my husband.
Within a handful of years, the couple had welcomed 2 kids, daughter Lola and son Nakoa Wolf, born in 2007 and 2008. Momoa also famously got along well with Bonet's ex-husband, Lenny Kravitz, and adult daughter Zoe Kravitz, making the split especially upsetting. It's easy to imagine married comedians living in wedded bliss in homes filled only with laughter and fun. This is obviously far from the reality of any marriage, but that hasn't stopped fans from investing deeply in pairings like Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone, Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman, or Chelsea Peretti and Jordan Peele. There wasn't any laughter when Amy Poehler and Will Arnett, 2 of the funniest people working in Hollywood and a seemingly perfect couple, announced their impending divorce. Isn't laughter supposed to be the best medicine? It seems that there are some tears that jokes cannot fix. Poehler and Arnett first crossed paths in 1996, but it was not until a reintroduction in 2000 that they began dating. Things got hot and heavy quickly after that, but the pair kept things private and did not even make a public appearance until 2002, a year before they wed. They welcomed son Archie in 2008 and his brother Abel in 2010, and no signs of discord ever appeared in gossip columns until they split in 2016. Even though they're no longer together, they've been sure to clarify that they remain on good terms. Arnett told The Guardian in 2022, "I'm so lucky that we're such a huge part of each other's lives, even more so than we were 5 years ago." It wasn't the biggest surprise when Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez broke up. Not the first time, and not the second time either. But when Affleck and Jennifer Garner ended things, that was more of a shocker. After all, it's Garner whose patience and support helped Affleck become his best self, and even after their 2015 split, she's continued to stand by her ex. For example, when Affleck went to rehab in August 2018, 2 months before the divorce was finalized, it was Garner who drove him to the treatment center. Their split was especially startling since it happened only days after they celebrated their 10-year wedding anniversary. The couple first met on the set of Pearl Harbor, in which Affleck starred and Garner had a small role, but nothing happened between them since Garner was married to scandal actor Scott Foley at the time. Nothing happened when they co-starred together again 3 years later in 2003's Daredevil either, but once they were both single the next year, things were on.
You're holding back.
Yes.
Don't.
They made their first public appearance in late 2004, married in June 2005, and had their first child Violet 6 months later. They welcomed 2 more children, Serafina in 2009 and Samuel in 2012, and established themselves as a Hollywood power couple before it all went south. Despite seeming like pure relationship goals, Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan broke things off in 2018. Whether they were gracing the red carpet with their presence or having a friendly competition on celebrity lip sync, they always seemed like they were having a blast together. That's why onlookers were so surprised when they announced they were calling it quits. Publications ran articles with names like Us Weekly's "Fans are losing their minds over Jenna and Channing's split." Dewan and Tatum were together for 12 years and married for 9 before their relationship came to an end. They became an item after meeting on the set of the 2006 film Step Up and married 3 years later in Malibu. Together they share one daughter, Everly, who was born in May 2013 and inspired Tatum to create a line of children's books called Sparkella. Dewan filed for divorce in October 2018, 6 months after the couple announced their split on Instagram. Their statement read, "We fell deeply in love so many years ago and have had a magical journey together. Absolutely nothing has changed about how much we love one another, but love is a beautiful adventure that is taking us on different paths for now." Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen were kind of a weird couple, but they were a weird couple that seemed to make it work. Their quirks brought them closer together, like their shared overly restrictive diet that consisted of 80% vegetables and banned white sugar, flour, dairy, and even nightshades. It seems like Brady and Bundchen were going to be together forever, especially when the supermodel stuck by her man during the Deflategate scandal. But of course, nothing lasts forever. Brady and Bundchen's marriage began under difficult circumstances when Brady found out that his ex-girlfriend, Bridget Moynihan, was pregnant with his oldest son, Jack, 2 months after starting his romance with Bundchen. Somehow, the relationship was able to survive, and Bundchen welcomed Jack into her life and family. The couple got engaged in January 2009 and married the next month in a small ceremony with only their parents present. Bundchen gave birth to the couple's son Benjamin in December of that same year, and to their daughter Vivian 3 years later. Though they faced rumors about fighting or tension throughout the years, they were also consistently photographed being handsy and never shied away from Instagram tributes to each other. That's what made their split, which they formally announced in October 2022 after their divorce was finalized, so surprising.
You didn't think that the marriage would end? No one goes into a marriage thinking it's going to end, but it does.
And it's heartbreaking, to go through that.
Academy Award-nominated actor Laurence Fishburne is a fantastic performer who has dazzled in everything from What's Love Got to Do with It to The Matrix. One role Fishburne has not mastered is that of husband, even though he gave it a solid run a couple of times. It was particularly sad to see his marriage to fellow actor Gina Torres come to an end in 2018, as it seemed like the second time might be the charm for Fishburne. Torres and Fishburne married in 2002. The couple went on to have one child, daughter Delilah, and it was not until Page Six published photos of Torres smooching a strange man in 2017 that the public knew there was trouble in paradise. Torres told Us Weekly the day after Page Six ran the photos, "With heavy hearts, Laurence and I quietly separated and began the dissolution of our marriage in the early fall of last year. There are no bad guys here, only a love story with a different ending than either one of us had expected." In 2022, Fishburne told Page Six that he was not actively dating despite being open to falling in love again. Looking back, Arnold Schwarzenegger and his wife Maria Shriver's divorce was probably a long time coming. Action stars who were popular in the 1980s and 1990s don't exactly have great track records with marriage after all. Sylvester Stallone is on marriage number 3, Steven Seagal is on marriage 4, and Jean-Claude Van Damme has been married 5 times to 4 different women. It seemed like Schwarzenegger's union would be different, perhaps because he had moved into politics and Shriver is JFK's niece. They seemed like they were truly in love, so it was surprising when their bubble burst in a truly ugly public manner. Schwarzenegger and Shriver announced their separation in May 2011, 1 week before Schwarzenegger publicly confessed to having had a secret child years before with the family's maid. Shriver formally filed for divorce 2 months later, but has kept things civil with her ex, who only told her of his son Joseph Baina's existence after leaving political office. Schwarzenegger told The Hollywood Reporter, "She and I are really good friends and very close, and we are very proud of the way we raised our kids."
I've had a good relationship with the kids, and I've had a very good relationship with Maria, but it takes time to rebuild the trust again.
Modern Family star Sofía Vergara and everyone's favorite True Blood werewolf, Joe Manganiello, made a beautiful couple, and their intense chemistry was palpable whenever they appeared together in public. Many fans were rooting for them to succeed, which is why the July 2023 announcement of their split was such a surprise. Their joint statement read, "As two people that love and care for one another very much, we politely ask for respect of our privacy at this time as we navigate this new phase of our lives." Plenty of rumors have swirled since the pair announced their news, most of them surrounding children. Page Six claims that Manganiello desperately wanted kids, but that Vergara had become closed off to the idea in the years since they married. Vergara has a grown son, Manolo, from her first marriage and famously fought with ex-fiancé Nick Loeb over frozen embryos he wanted to implant in a surrogate after their breakup. She won her case against Loeb, but perhaps the experience soured her on the prospect of having another baby at this stage of life. If 2 impossibly attractive people can't make it in this world, who can? Many children of the 1990s still think of Tia and Tamara Mowry as the teenage twins separated at birth they played on Sister Sister. So the idea that the sisters are not only grown, but have kids approaching the age of their famous characters is almost mind-boggling. While Tamara is still happily married to Adam Housley, Tia's run at love has taken a turn in recent years. In 2022, Mowry surprised her longtime fans when she split from actor Cory Hardrict, her husband of 14 years. One reason the split was so shocking was because Hardrict was the only man Mowry had ever been linked to publicly, and she had spent nearly her entire adult life with him. Mowry was 22 when they met on the set of a horror movie and just about to turn 30 when they walked down the aisle in April 2008. They welcomed son Cree in 2011 and daughter Cairo in 2018, showing no signs of marital distress, not even leading up to their split. In April 2022, Mowry praised her man on Instagram to celebrate their 22nd anniversary, while Hardrict posted a birthday tribute for his wife that July. So when Mowry announced their split in October, it was certainly unexpected. One day after filing divorce papers, she posted on Instagram, I wanted to share that Cory and I have decided to go our separate ways.
There's no sadness. It's actually more feelings of gratitude, saying we did have some great moments.
Peter Facinelli and Jennie Garth made it over a decade as a married couple, which is a real feat in Hollywood. Nevertheless, they split in 2012. They said in a statement, "While we have decided to end our marriage, we both share the same deep love and devotion to our children. We remain dedicated to raising our beautiful daughters together. We ask for privacy and respect during this time." The couple finalized their divorce the following year, and Garth married her third husband in 2015. Facinelli has also found new love and welcomed a son with his fiancée Lily Ann Harrison in September 2022. Us Weekly reported that Garth had grown resentful of Facinelli's success, which exploded with the Twilight movies. When asked about the divorce many years later, Facinelli simply explained that things changed in the relationship over time, saying on the Allison Interviews podcast, "So bad things can become habitual, the way you start to treat each other, giving the other person permission or an allowance to talk to you in a certain way." Facinelli and Garth first met on the set of a TV movie in 1995, and they married in early 2001. They have 3 daughters, Luca, Lola, and Fiona. Anna Faris was with Chris Pratt well before he became the mega famous movie star he is now. She didn't start off with action hero six-pack abs Pratt, but rather the chubby, lovable goofball seen in shows like Everwood and Parks and Recreation. But while Faris married Pratt 1.0, the actor's meteoric rise and evolution into Pratt 2.0 changed the dynamic to the point where Faris had said she felt like her hand was forced into divorce. They split in 2018. As so many celebrity couples do, Faris and Pratt first met on set while filming the 2007 movie Take Me Home Tonight. Faris was the bigger star at the time, thanks to her breakout role in Scary Movie and its sequels, as well as standout performances in smaller parts in flicks like Lost in Translation and Just Friends. She was also married, but when she split from husband Ben Indra a month after meeting Pratt, it didn't take the actor long to swoop in. They were engaged by the end of 2008 and married in July of the next year. The couple welcomed their only child together in 2012 and have made positive statements about the experience of co-parenting their son Jack.
I think that the key is surrounding him with a lot of joy and happiness, and which he has a ton of.
It's admittedly a bit naive to have been surprised by the split of a couple who filed for divorce on numerous occasions, but never doubt a combination of wishful thinking and sheer romanticism. It looked like Billy Ray Cyrus and Tish Cyrus might have been able to remain on the happily wedded track after they rekindled their relationship in 2013. June of that year was the second time Tish filed for divorce, but the couple had been going strong since getting back together only a month later. Billy Ray was the one to file the couple's first divorce papers back in 2010, but that split was also reversed before anything legal went down. Though the couple's final divorce filing only occurred in April 2022, both Billy Ray and Tish entered new relationships rather quickly. Despite how quickly each party moved on, it seems like the Cyruses truly loved each other, and they have a whole clan of kids to show for it. Billy Ray adopted Tish's 2 eldest kids, Brandy and Trace, when the couple got married in 1993, and they went on to have 3 more together, Noah, Brazen, and of course, Miley. The couple said in a statement to People after announcing their split, "We have grown up together, raised a family we can be so proud of, and it is now time to create our own paths." Ali Wong made a ton of jokes about her marriage and her husband Justin Hakuta in her 3rd Netflix special, Don Wong, but no one thought anything of it. She had always joked about marriage, and it's hard to name a married comedian who doesn't ever mention their spouse in their act. But 2 months after the special came out in February 2022, Wong and Hakuta announced their split, so perhaps the jokes were symbolic of something deeper. As one might expect from its title, Wong's 2024 special, Single Lady, was full of jokes about her new relationship status. At least she got some good material out of it.
You think I got divorced from one man to communicate obvious to another man?
Wong first met Hakuta at a wedding in 2010, and the pair got married 4 years later at City Hall. Hakuta's family made Wong sign a prenup, which is pretty rich considering that her comedy and acting gigs have made her a multimillionaire. Wong and Hakuta have 2 children together, which you already know if you've seen either of the specials she recorded while she was heavily pregnant. Despite their divorce, Wong still spends tons of time with her ex. He still works as her tour manager, and she called him her best friend in a 2023 profile in The Hollywood Reporter. Dirty Dancing star Jennifer Grey's career had largely petered out by the time she got married in 2001, but she was still the bigger name in her relationship. That changed along the way as her husband, Clark Gregg, started scoring higher profile roles, particularly his part in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Gregg surely racked up some dough playing Agent Phil Coulson in the first 6 seasons of the series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as well as a handful of Marvel movies beginning with 2008's Iron Man. But while Gregg's career was rising, his marriage to Grey was apparently flailing. The two called it quits 1 year before their 20th wedding anniversary. In July 2020, Gray and Greg posted on their Instagram accounts, "After 19 years together, we separated in January, knowing we'd always be a family who loves, values, and cares for each other. We recently made the difficult decision to divorce, but we remain close and are deeply grateful for the life we've shared and the wonderful daughter we've raised." Gray and Greg first met in 2000, and they were expecting their daughter Stella when they walked down the aisle in 2001, in front of stars including Michael J. Fox and Felicity Huffman. The couple's divorce was finalized in 2021, and Gray was awarded half of all future residuals and royalties from Greg's projects during their marriage, plus a smaller cut of any future earnings should he reprise his Marvel role in the future. Melanie Griffith has been married to 3 men, one of them twice. She was only 18 the first time she married Don Johnson, whom she had been dating since she was 14 and he was 22. The couple moved in together when Griffith was 15, so marriage didn't change much, but that only lasted for 6 months of 1976. Griffith was then married to Stephen Bauer, father of her son Alexander, from 1981 to 1989, before getting back together with Johnson in 1989. Griffith and Johnson quickly wed again, and the marriage lasted until 1996, with the pair welcoming their daughter Dakota along the way. Never one to space out her marriages, Griffith walked down the aisle with actor Antonio Banderas the same year as her divorce from Johnson. The couple, who shared daughter Stella, born in 1996, stayed married for 18 years, and with each subsequent year, people grew more and more convinced Griffith had finally found the right man with whom to spend the rest of her life. Their 2014 separation was shocking, but the divorce, finalized in 2015, has not stopped the duo from successfully co-parenting.
Melanie is probably one of my best friends right now. It's a woman that I was married with for 20 years, but she is a dear friend of mine. I love her very much.
In 2017, Griffith gave an interview to Porter magazine in which she discussed why she felt the divorce happened, saying, "I think part of the reason my marriage to Antonio fell apart was because I was stuck. Nobody else is to blame. I want to enjoy life. I want to do whatever I want to do." Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton's unexpected but super cute love story is one for the ages, and it couldn't have happened if Stefani was still married to Bush lead singer Gavin Rossdale. But that still doesn't mean anyone is happy about the divorce, which shattered the hearts of many 90s kids. Both No Doubt and Bush were big deals back in the day, and fans loved seeing the rockers together as a couple. Once the pair made it past the 2004 revelation that Rossdale had a teenage child he did not know was his, it was easy to assume the couple could get through any obstacle. 11 years later, this turned out to be untrue when the singers announced the end of their 13-year marriage. Stefani and Rossdale met in 1995 and started dating long distance while No Doubt was on a 27-month tour. They got married in September 2002 and in 2006 welcomed the eldest of their 3 sons, Kingston, followed by Zuma in 2008 and Apollo in 2014. After Stefani and Rossdale's August 2015 split announcement, it came out that Rossdale had been having an affair with their nanny for 3 years. Unsurprisingly, the exes have not always had an easy time raising their kids together in the years since the divorce. Rossdale said on the Not So Hollywood podcast in 2023, "You can either do everything together and really co-parent and see how it goes, or you can just parent. I think we just parent." While his buddy Leonardo DiCaprio has always preferred short flings or relationships that last only a handful of years, it always seemed like Tobey Maguire was in it for the long haul. He and his jewelry designer ex, Jennifer Meyer, appeared to have a solid marriage and let no signs of trouble slip out publicly prior to their separation. Maguire and Meyer told People via a statement, "After much soul-searching and consideration, we have made the decision to separate as a couple. As devoted parents, our first priority remains raising our children together with enduring love, respect, and friendship." Despite separating in 2016, neither party actually filed for divorce for years thereafter, until Meyer filed papers in October 2020. By that point, the pair had been legally married for 13 years, having wed in 2007, though the media often only counts the 9 years before their separation. Maguire first met Meyer in 2003, and they have 2 children, Ruby and Otis. Meyer said on the world's first podcast in 2022, "It's been the most beautiful experience of my life having this beautiful breakup. I can't even explain. I would literally do anything in the world for Toby. He is my brother. I love him to death, and we have the most beautiful family."
He's amazing. He's the greatest dad in the world, so he makes it very easy.
Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's marriage feels ancient now, but those old enough to remember when they were together know just how highly regarded their union was at the time. Willis and Moore were each Hollywood bigwigs on their own. They made the definitive power couple. Everything they did was cool, from the odd names they gave their daughters to their move to the small town of Haley, Idaho. The couple's split was surprising and sad, but the pair set the template when it comes to remaining friends after divorce. They even quarantined together during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, alongside their adult daughters, Willis's current wife, Emma Hemming, and his 2 daughters from that marriage. Willis and Moore first met in July 1987 when Moore was engaged to actor Emilio Estevez. When that relationship ended weeks later, Willis swooped in, and by November, the couple was married. They had their daughter Rumor in 1988, followed by Scout in 1991, and Tallulah in 1994. Both of their careers were at a high during this time period as well, with Willis doing his Die Hard thing, and Moore fresh off a string of successful films, including Disclosure and Indecent Proposal. Cut to 4 years later, when the world was rocked by the couple's divorce announcement, which they filed in Idaho. It took 2 years for the divorce to become finalized, reportedly due to the size of their real estate portfolio and the intricacies of custody matters. It honestly seemed like country legend Reba McEntire and her ex-husband Narvel Blackstock would grow old together. Sadly, McEntire and Blackstock divorced in 2015 after more than 2 decades of marriage, and not by McEntire's choice. She said in a 2016 CMT Radio Live interview, "The divorce was not my idea. I didn't want it in any shape, form, or fashion, so it was really hard to make the adjustment." McEntire is now 70, and her adorable relationship with boyfriend Rex Lynn, an actor she has known since 1991, is proof that it is never too late to start over if you have the right mindset. Both McEntire and Blackstock were married before getting together, and they were both wedded when Blackstock first joined McEntire's band as a guitarist in 1980. They got together after Blackstock's 1988 divorce, which came 1 year after McEntire's first marriage ended. They were married in June 1989 and welcomed their only son Shelby just under 9 months later.